Hi everyone, it's Diet Day 9 and I thought I would give you all an update as I hadn't posted up a video yesterday. So yesterday I still woke up in the morning and I went and weighed because yesterday was Diet Day 8, which meant it was a full 7 full diet days on the plan, and here is my results. Today, so we're now Diet Day 7 and we're right down to 12 stone 4 exactly. So that is £10 gone in just 1 week. I'm delighted. So, I mean, £10 in only 1 week, eating 3 main meals a day with 2 snacks in between, and having your Tom added on is exceptional in my eyes, to be honest. Hopefully it shows all those that are out there and following all the videos and everything else as well exactly what 1 week difference can make. And now I'm probably the last one to see any changes in myself. I don't mean that I'm very critical of myself, it's just other people have been pointing out throughout the week going, oh my goodness, you can really see it off your face, or you can see it off this, that, and you know, and whatever. But I was actually uploading the latest video to the website, the LPLSupplements.com, and it was just the thumbnails, and I went, oh my goodness, look at that, because they were beside each other and you could see the Diet Day 1 video or the information video or the loading day video, and then you can see that, and I have to say I actually do see it off my face now, so I'm delighted. So I'll update you all on Diet Day 8. So I've got all written down here because I've got quite a few things to talk to you about today, and we'll get on to that in a minute. But I wanted to mention, so my lunch yesterday I had minced burgers, homemade burgers. They were amazing, as I put garlic in with it, I put a wee bit of fry light spray on them, and just under 5% fat mince, really lean, good proper mince from the butchers. It was beautiful, and put my onions and everything in it too. And I tried the butternut squash chips for the first time. Now I know why everybody's raving about these. One thing I want to point out about them, as good as they taste, the carb levels are still a bit, so they're okay to have maybe once or twice a week. Don't be loading these onto your plate every day, okay? Variety is the key, as I mentioned before in all the other videos. You need to literally keep changing your diet every single day till it gets to the point where it's going, oh my goodness, I don't know what he or she is at. I just have to, you know, release all this energy and start attacking all these little fat cells so they flush away. Yeah, so then last night then I had pork chops and I had carrots with it as well, and I had gravy granules added in and the cauliflower as well. It was quite nice. And then for last night for a wee treat, I had got 5 strawberries, 5 bits of ice, 2 spoonfuls of Greek yogurt, blended it all together, put it into the freezer. I think it was about 45 minutes, and oh man, that was just what I needed. I just needed that little extra sugar kick, and it was perfect, and it was so nice because it was near frozen. It was just felt like a wee bit, it's like a mixture between a yogurty, ice creamy, milkshakey thing. It was so nice though. So that was yesterday. Yesterday's appetite suppressant was, oh my goodness. For me, you see those minced burgers, I could have had half of it and I was okay. Now you see, if I was even talking to you, never mind even the hard Diet Day 3s, but you see, even if I was talking to you on Diet Day 4 when I was feeling good, you can go back and check that video out. That still wouldn't have like really done me, you know. I was feeling it suppressing, but I mean yesterday it was like half. I was like, oh my goodness. So I can really start feeling it now. I'm actually having to remember, as thing as that sounds, I do have to start remembering tea time or lunchtime more than anything. Dinner time I'm making everybody else and getting them sorted as well. So for today so far I've had an egg salad, that was easier at, I bring them in already boiled, just peel the shells while I'm here and then just eat it with a wee bit of salad included too. Now, I haven't took my measurements just yet, even though it's inch loss week, but I wanted to take them tomorrow on Diet Day 10 because that will be a full week from the first time, if you all remember, I took my measurements. So it'll be interesting to see just how they are, you know, weighing up, and hopefully we'll see a wee bit of you know, a reduction there. I'm starting to really feel it in my clothes. Like for example, today these jeans, these were the ones I was wearing on, was it Diet Day? I can't remember my last video, maybe Diet Day 1 or 2 when I had mentioned that they were tight. I said they were size 12 new look jeans, if that makes sense to you. So For me now, I can actually pull them over and I don't have the overhang on the sides, which was really important for me to target. So I'm in the right direction. So what I wanted to talk to you today is about, maybe not losing for a few days, or say up to 4 days, okay? It doesn't really come a concern until you've had no loss on the scales for 4 days. Because during that time, your body is going through so many different changes, whether that be the weight loss, the gappage in the body, the introduction, hormonal changes, vitamins, minerals, the whole sort of nutrition side of things as well. You need to give your body a bit of time to readjust, is what I'm saying. So it is okay that maybe one day you stay the same on the scales. That doesn't mean that you have stayed the same in general, okay? There's so much going on inside, so there might be introduction. There might also be, your skin might be changing. It might be getting everything into gear. It might be stepping up a gear too. You don't know what's going on, so don't get disheartened what I'm trying to say. But after the 4 days, if you find things aren't really moving too well, there's a couple of things that you could be taking, okay? So first of all, consider, is it your time of month? Are you coming up to it? Is it in maybe the next 4 days? Is it, are you in the height of it? The reason I'm saying is not many people actually realise the hormone changes, as I mentioned earlier, that takes a bit of time in the run up to it, okay? So maybe 4 or 5 days even before it comes, your body is starting to retain water. It is starting to, the fluctuate and the change in that as well. So don't be worrying. And even for those who maybe gain a pound or two while they're on their time of the month, it isn't fat. It's just mass, and mass can be everything. It can be water retention, and it can also be the likes of your stools and different things like that too. So don't get disheartened. Water retention, as I moved on. If you use far too many herbs and spices or freebies, because the drops aren't overly formulated to break them down, they're meant to be for treats and for flavourings and different things too. So if you're not abusing the freebie list, but if you're thinking, oh, that'll be okay, I'll keep adding this and I'll keep doing this and I'll add that in, so I've got my sea salt and I've got my pepper and I've got my garlic granules and I've got this and this and this. See all those little molecules and everything? They're really good absorbers. That's why we put salt down, when something's damp, and because it can, absorb up the excess moisture and everything else too. So you can imagine your cells could begin retaining water. Whenever that happens, what we always say, especially if there's been 4 days with no loss, is you go back to basics, okay? Go back to the old plan. Because with the old plan, it was a lot more restricted. There wasn't as much variety, but it worked 100%, So what we mean by that is, in the morning time, you do not have a carb option. So no cereal, no Melba toast, okay? No yogurt, the dairy is out as well. And your choices basically are either the egg on its own with no Melba toast, or your mid-morning fruit allowance, okay? So one of those. Then you move on to lunchtime and you have 1 piece of protein, okay? And with your protein you have 1 veg. And you don't add in any freebies, and you drink at least, you have to up your water intake, so about half, a litre, even extra. So you need to be on about 3.5 litres, okay? Then same again for dinner, and then another piece of fruit in the evening time. So you're bringing absolutely right down to basics, because what will happen is that'll kick-start it. Then whenever you start slowly introducing your food groups again, you'll find things that are working personally for your own body and what doesn't. What works for one person doesn't work for the other. For example, you will notice I hardly have any tomatoes in my meals at all. I had it for a meal last week, and I deliberately done it in my first week because that's whenever the quickest weight loss, that's when your body's like fueling and going crazy, okay? But you'll find I'll hardly ever use them in the second week. And it's because tomatoes actually slow my loss down, personally, and I know that. And it's only because of me bringing down the basics. It was whenever I introduced them into a meal, I didn't have a loss the next day, and I was going, right, that's what that is, so I'll cut that out. And as soon as I cut that out again, it moved again. So you can test things about, everybody is different. What is on that pre-food list is for those, the majority, the average, member is able to break those things down. You might feel that you can break something down 100%, it's brilliant, like onions. And other people can find onions extremely, extremely difficult, okay? So I'll say is go back to basics, find out what works out for you and stick to it then, okay? But with variety, keep varying everything up as well. Yes, constipation. Now, people sometimes get concerned if they don't have a bowel movement in say X amount of days. One thing I want to point out is it doesn't mean that you're coming constipated as such, because think about it, you're not having as much intake as you used to, okay? So without getting graphic, your stools would be smaller, okay? They might be more healthier looking in colour, if that can even be a thing. Lighter in colour is what I'm trying to say. And but sometimes in low calorie diets you can become kind of stodged, you know. And one thing I do recommend is try to stay clear of medications prescribed. And what I mean by that is, because there's so many different ingredients in it that doesn't, you know, work well alongside the drops, I would say stick to herbal, okay? So go to Harrington Barrett's and there's a little box of tea bags called Slimming Tea. And I need to do a price check for you, but they're only £1 saying 90, okay? They're not very expensive. But you see, taking one of those wee teas going to bed in the morning, it gets everything going again and flowing. Do you know some people can actually hold up to 2 to 3 pounds of mass within their body if they haven't been to the toilet in a while as well? So that could be another indication why your loss is slowing down a bit, okay? I think I've mentioned more or less everything. I'm trying to always think of wee tips and, you know, hints and things that we have picked up along the way on my own personal journey and our own trials and different things, and then our members' journeys too. So if we do, we always report it back because we want you to have the absolute best loss possible. Oh yes, what I want you all to start doing is re-looking back into the ebook, okay? A lot of people look at the proof food list and go, okay, I can use that, and they sort of incorporate their own wee plan, okay? That's okay if you don't mind losing at the average rate that we tell you about. But I've noticed some people send in their food plans to me just to check, and they're having the likes of the Melba toast option and the egg for lunch instead of the breakfast option. It isn't a lunch option. Melba toast is not there for lunch. You've got 2 eggs as an option, which is grand, and you have your protein, or you can have your cottage cheese with your 2 lots of veg up to 300 grams, but Melba toast isn't there. In the old plan there's no carbs at all, okay, but I mean your vegetal has carbs, but there wasn't a carb option at all on its own, and that's why we introduced the likes of the cereal option and the Melba toast option, because we do need throughout the week, not every day, but throughout the week we do need an element of you know, a certain amount of carbs intake, okay? So no cereal every single morning, or no Melba toast every single morning either, okay? You need to keep swapping it. Personally, I don't have a cereal more than once a week, okay? I don't have the Melba toast option more than once a week, and I keep at least like 4 days between even those 2 options. The reason for it is carbs take a very, very long time to break down. So we take them first thing in the morning, and the reason why that is, it starts, you know, adding the fuel to the fire, so you, while you're being active throughout the day, you can break these down a wee bit easier. If you start taking them at lunchtime, you're only having really the dinner, and then you're having something else on top of that, and then you're probably sitting down after dinner and it's not getting burnt off the way it's meant to. So please don't include any options that aren't in that ebook into your diet plan. So look at the breakfast, see what your options are, look at the lunch, see what your options are, and same for dinner. And just to stress out again that if you do start adding in extras, okay, so saying that you did go and get a wee bit of it, you know, Melba toast throughout the day and you're munching on that, or an extra, say, a couple of pieces of fruit, or which are really high in natural sugars, by the way, and sugars, as you know, don't break down well with the drops, and just different wee bits and pieces, or a wee nick pit here, and I'll take a wee bit of chips from that plate, and trust me on this, it all adds up. There's so many different plans out there that you can easily lose £1 to £2 a week in, with a lot of variety in that as well. Our plan is designed to get a lot of weight off you in only 4 weeks in a really safe way, okay, but in a very quick way as well. So you know, obviously the plan is a wee bit more restricted than others, but it works extremely well. So if you're wanting to lose up to 20 to 28 pound in only 4 weeks, okay, 4 full weeks of the diet plan, then I really suggest that you follow that ebook to an absolute T, because that has been the plan that has been proven, and that's the plan I'm personally following myself. So if you want to get the results like I'm getting at the minute, follow alongside me as well. Which brings me to another thing, I would love to hear more back from you guys as well. I've been following quite a lot of your updates and your weigh-ins and all. It's brilliant. It's actually getting me buzzing too, and it keeps me really motivated. And a lot of you, I mean, inspiration is the only way I can describe it. For those up in the private group support on Facebook, I mean, you're posting, you know, bikini shots and gym shots and everything else too, and I mean, that is really helping other people make a really good decision. That is making them go, wow, you know what, I've got a body type like that. If I go on that for 2 weeks, the difference that can make. But can I also point out the changes inside, like for your health? Like, I mean, my energy levels are soaring at the minute. I have never felt as focused in such a long time. I was run down, I was drained, I was feeling extremely down. If I'm being honest, I just didn't feel like myself. The difference 1 week makes in this plan is amazing, amazing. So keep me updated. Keep letting me know how you're getting on. I love following every single one of you, and I appreciate every single person that takes the time just to like a comment or give me a wee comment back or subscribes to the channel too. So it keeps me sort of focused on where to go with these videos as well. So I think that is everything. What I'll do at the end of this week again is give you another progress photo. So you'll all see the up-to-date photo on Dad Days 8's Dad Day 7's video. So if you haven't already seen that, go check it out now, and hopefully you'll see a massive difference at the end of this week. The last thing I'll leave you with is water. Water, 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 water. Loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of it, especially because you want to keep your skin nice and hydrated too as you're coming down quite quickly, okay? And just think, it'll keep flushing all those toxins, all those fat cells away, makes more room, makes more introduction, makes a brand new dress or trousers for you. So keep it up. Any questions, let me know. Bye.